Haven't done one of these in a while, guys. Turn that off. You gonna make me rotate my device? I always hated that. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Never understood that. Sorry, guys, a little bit of setup problems here. All right, guys, we're going to be cleaning some copper, brass, and scrap and stuff. Nice cold day. We got the heater on. Got the heater on down here. I had to get all the four-wheelers and the scooter up in here. I mean, nothing I could really do, but as you guys see, we have it insulated in here real nice. It's actually like being inside of a baked potato. But yeah, guys, I'm going to put you over here so you can see what I'm doing here. I hit the button before I was set up, guys. Kind of dumb like that. Why are you not doing what I want you to do? Oh, there you go. I want to put you guys where you can see what needs to be doing. Oh, that'll work. Get you locked in there. You're looking at my Sawzall here. All right, guys. So, yeah, it's been pretty eventful week. It's been super duper cold. Put my glove on the wrong hand. Super duper cold. But these gloves are kind of okay. But I've been taking things apart. And I was like, I might as well go live. I'm going to try to get some of these little electric motors and stuff apart. But I got rid of all that stuff that I had been holding. You know, it all went to Stanton's, so we took that stuff in, made a pretty good payday. Now I'm just waiting for my new truck to arrive. I don't think that's going to just come out of there. None of them screws came out. Am I missing something? Are you serious? It's screwed in from the other side? Huh? I want something else. Because I don't feel like doing that right now. But yeah, we got a couple pieces of copper I picked up. Had a busy day. We went and picked up. The other day I went and picked up 2 boilers, cast iron boilers. So I managed to get a bunch of pieces of copper. I don't know where my cutters are. Stupid zip ties. Everything's got to be a zip tie. Like, I never understood. Hold on. Here we go. I swear to God, I always got to fight with zip ties or something. That's a pretty ugly piece of copper. I don't feel like trying to get that little piece of number 1, so I'm just going to cut it in half. Batteries are cold, so everything's going to be moving slow for a while. This was a bunch of copper, like, tubing that was in, like, black casing. It was in, like, this black tubing like this. So I ripped it apart and cut this stuff off, and there's a piece of brass right here. So what I usually do, guys, I know it's not the best, but I'll cut here. I'll cut here, and I'll cut here on either side of the brass. Man, it's the battery cold. See, then I get that piece of brass. Now you could try to get that little piece out. I really don't. It might come out. Oh no. Yeah, it's just loose in there. We ain't gonna fuss with it though. We got more copper, and pieces like this. I mean, I have brass fitting on there. This Sawzall does not want to work today. She don't like the cold, so we'll go to the big boy. Boom, just like that. Copper, brass. That's how we're rolling today. What else do we have? There's stuff all over this bench. There's a bin here. It's kind of slightly off camera. This blue bin right here has all kinds of stuff in it. So I would like to get this bin out of the way and done. Why are you not working? Nothing wants to work for me today, guys. See my sign? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to stay on camera. All right, guys. It's a nice piece of copper. See that fitting is copper on there? That fitting is copper. But you got all boogery on the end, so I think I'm going to cut it here and here. So I'll cut this copper fitting off. Of course, hit the floor, and we'll cut the pipe here. So your heavy oxidized piece, that could go as number 2. And then all I did was trim that fitting off, so that could be a piece of number 1. Where'd that fitting go? Oh, that's not it. No, it's going on the floor, guys. A little piece of copper that came off of an air conditioner. That freaking heat is pumping. But yeah, these are all the little tubes that came off that air conditioner. We're just throwing it all, just separating it out. I do have an A-coil, aluminum A-coil here. I want to rip apart, but more copper. Just double check make sure that's not. But yeah, all this stuff came from them boilers and stuff that I took apart with. My buddy Tom called me, so I went and picked up 2 boilers. That Sawzall blade is bad. So the other day I went and got brand new Sawzall blade. I buy these things by the bulk, guys. If you look on Amazon, or not Amazon, on I can't think. I'm having brain farts today. I don't know why I decided to do this, but this is me usually. eBay, DeWalt bulk blades. And then I also bought, so I usually buy these by the 100. And I bought these. I've had these before, the Lennox metal blades. These Lennox metal blades, guys, are pretty good. They're same amount of teeth as the DeWalt blade, 18. They're a little bit longer. I got them so they could be a little bit longer for cutting the fan motor things off, so you get around the blades. But they're about the same, comparable. I paid $200 for 150 of these, and these I usually pay about 125, 130. They're creeping up for 100, so that ends up to $1.30 a blade. And these were like $1.75, $1.80 a blade, something like that, for those Lennox ones. But you know how it is. You could cut a bunch of pieces and be fine, and hit one piece of hardened steel. Let's take that piece of brass off. But yeah, I had 240 pounds of it in this brass can down here last time I went in. But I noticed prices have been slipping. This is gonna be a hard piece to hold on to. Yeah, I know I'm a little dangerous. I just hold on to it. I've been cutting copper and brass for a while now. Doing it for so many years. This was a weight belt. These are lead. It doesn't stick to it, so those are definitely lead. This weight belt. So I'm gonna cut those lead pieces out of that. I don't know. Wonder if I cut the strap, so I can pull them off. Kind of a pain in the butt. This thing is so like cold. But yeah. What does it say on Jamaica, New York? Central Jamaica, New York. There's a bunch of them on here. And there's another one. I just cut it. This is a thick one. Damn, boss, she's thick. Yeah, Jamaica, New York. That's got to be 4 or 5 pounds of lead. I got a bunch of cast iron pipe out there too. The old cast iron toilet pipe, like 3.5 inch, 4 inch toilet pipe. So before I take that in for short steel, I'll bust all the lead out of it to get a couple extra bucks. You know, some things I do tear apart, guys. Some things I don't. I mean, it's all in how much time and how much frustration you want to deal with. But I'll start a lead bucket, guys. Under the table. I figured that stuff would come off pretty easy. And you got your yellow plumbing brass. Let's see if I can get a socket in there. What size is that? 12? Nope. It's probably 14. You know, cheap little socket set. And, you know, the flex ones, the Milwaukee's are expensive. I know you guys use different kinds of tools and things of that nature. I like the flex ones, and I have Makita. But one of these impact drivers and one of those anvils, you know, an extension or something, socket set, you know. I'm still using sockets I bought 20 years ago. You know, take that piece of stuff off. Oh, that's on there. Look at that. Little piece of brass. Another piece. This is the main piece of brass. You just got to watch because sometimes these little handles might be magnetic. But now she's all good. There's a little piece of plastic in here. You know, and most yards won't really, you know, bust balls about that. So that's not really a big issue. There's a bunch of just quick brabby brass. But here's another one of those things. You know, just take the valves off, guys. Sorry, the nut was stuck in there. Wish I could play music while I was doing this. I was listening to music and I was like, you know what? I might as well show you guys what I'm doing. My housekeeper is cleaning my house right now, so figured I'd come out here and pick I picked a few things to scrap up. So, oh, see, this is one of these valves on it. So, might as well clean that too while I'm here. See, now these are, showed you guys these. These are those pressure release valves. Oh, sorry, I'm holding it a little pressure release valve. See how it's got that piece there? That piece is metal. Or sometimes they're not, but the spring inside there is, you see that piece down in there? Get it into the light. That spring makes them dirty. Now, some yards don't care, but, you know, some do. So I usually just cut directly down onto them, guys. See that? I cut directly down on the top of it. And look, that spring comes right out. There's a couple little pieces of brass in there if you want to pull that top off. Yep, see? Then there's that piece. And then there's your spring. The spring sticks. Junk. But then look at the nice piece of brass you end up with. See? I actually like brass because it's heavier than copper. It adds up. See another one of these ball valves. So like the nut on there and the handle will be, but you see these other little bolts? They're poopy caca too. So see if we can get this off. Usually they're not on there very tight. Now I'll try to get a socket on that. What size you think that is? Well, I got it first time. An 8 mil. And you want to use an impact for these and not a drill. The drill will bind and it'll kick. But yeah, this is what it's like to sit here and clean scrap. You know, a lot of you guys do it differently. If you have any tips or anything I'm doing wrong, see, there's just a ball valve in there. Mostly got to get those screws out. Where did that other piece go? Man, I'm dropping everything today. Did it fall in the bucket? Wow, I'm such a loser. Yeah, these faucets, guys, I hate cleaning these things. Hardest part is getting these things out. These little things in here. So what I usually do, guys, I usually throw them in this bucket. And when I get a lot of them, like these faucets, these ones aren't that bad. What you got to do is you got to take these nuts off, and there's another nut down in there. And this here. So if you get a pair of vice grips on them, and I know I'm not the only one that doesn't like to do these. Where the hell are... Oh, right there. A pair of vice grips on these. Yeah, see, you could get the vice grips on there and turn these out. And then this plastic piece should pop out if it wasn't a pain in the butt. Usually you can get a screwdriver in here and there we go. You pull little plastic pieces out to clean them. Now, a lot of times these plates look like they're chromed. And you're like, oh yeah, they're brass. Now you see I just scratched that chrome. I don't know if you could see that on camera. That's good brass. Sometimes they're not brass. Sometimes they're that aluminum-y metal. So this is all brass, but this piece here is steel. So a lot of guys will try to fight and get this nut out of here and try to cut that with the whiz wheel. I mean, there's a couple different ways to do it, but I usually just take it apart from the top. Because you got to remember, these things, they are serviceable. You know, they're made that if you ever have to change the washers in them, you know, you don't have to take the whole thing off the sink. So being that they were made serviceable, you could take the nuts off the top. See, then that's a piece of brass. Sometimes these aren't brass. They might be faux brass, but if you look inside there, you can see they're brass. And then this guy usually pops off. Come on. Wow, really? Got to get out the trusty Ford tool. Wow. Okay. It usually comes out. This one must be a pain in the buttocks. I kind of hate doing this stuff. There you go. So that piece is off. We'll take this nut off of this side with a pair of vice grips like these pair of Irvings. I've had forever. You know, if you invest in your tools, you'll use them for years. I usually lose them. Before their time is up. And you can pull this little piece out. Just so you guys can see what I'm doing instead of just hearing me. Here's a screwdriver, pop them out. I'll throw it in the brass bucket. But now we still got that dreaded piece there. Now, if you look, there's another little nut down in here. You might be able to just turn it or drop it on the floor. Put your big fat head in the camera. Sometimes these things don't come apart that easy. Like this one's kind of being a pain in the butt. I'm gonna have to go gloveless. Go a little tighter. This is why I hate doing these. I'll spend so much time doing these. I had a whole garbage can of these one time. Of faucets. Kitchen ones like this and bathroom ones like the other one I threw in there. And what I had done was I had a whole big garbage can of them. And one of my YouTubers that follows me, one of my subscribers that follows me, he lives close. And he said, "Oh, I'll come pick that can up." And I said, "You know what? You want the can? Come take it." So he came and picked up the can. And the next day, I see him at the scrapyard, and he handed me all the money. He went there and cleaned it and handed me all the money. And I told him, I said, "I don't want it. I said, keep it. I gave it to you." He's like, "No, I just wanted to clean it for you." He's like, "You're always so busy, and you hate doing them. You said that in your video you didn't want to do it." He's like, "Really?" So I ended up giving him half the money, which was no small chunk of change. If I remember, it was $300 or $400. Man, this one's being a pain in my ass. Sometimes I wonder if this stuff's even worth it, though. I mean, brass prices were down from the last time I sold. Real fart. And just always getting my butt kicked on prices. You know, we spend all this time gathering and getting this stuff, and prices go down. I mean, I'm really pushing on that little frickin' brass nut. I can't believe that. Pain in the ass. And you know what? When in doubt, I should have just did that from the beginning. And then that takes this piece of brass off. See why I hate these things? Usually they're not this miserable. There's the brass plate, and you end up with the steel plate. And you can see it's pressed in here, but now there's this nut on this side. It's just always a pain with these things. Once you get that plate off, it's not that bad. These might be copper, these little tubes. Yeah, I think these tubes are copper, but I ain't playing with them. I'm already over here getting my butt kicked. Wonder if I can get a socket on this. Hold up, guys. I think I can get a socket on that. It's not 5/8. This one? 11/16. You know this isn't going to come off. Oh, it came off. But now that piece is there. Maybe I can cut it now. Wow, that was pure misery. I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say, guys. All that for that. And these little tubes here are copper, so if you want, you can cut them off and get that little piece. After I just shredded my hand up for it. Real pain in the butt. But yeah, just copper brass. I mean, it's worth it to clean it. It's just it's always a pain in the butt. This piece I'm just going to cut off. Yeah, I could have took a screwdriver, but I mean, I'm not going to clean any more of these valves. I'm going to put them to the side. But here was a brass bell. One of my buddies gave me this, and you see that? It's weird though because it sounds like it just doesn't sound right. But then I noticed there's a huge crack right here. It's got a huge crack in it, but it's got this metal piece through it. I think what I'm going to do is, I know you're going to be like, no, don't cut that. Don't cut that. Look at it. Yeah, well, if it wasn't cracked, I'd probably keep it, but we're going to cut the handle off. So we cut the handle off it. No, I can't read what you guys are writing, but I know you're like, no. Now, I wonder if we... Man, my bench is tore up. Give it the old... Oh. Maybe not. It cracked! It literally cracked. Look at that. It literally cracked again. But I got the piece of steel out. That's a good chunk of brass, though. But man, look at that crack. I was trying to hit the plug out. Still a piece of steel on the end. But yeah. You guys ever chunk a brass bell before? I did. More of these fittings. What is that? Is that number 1 or number 2, guys? What would you throw that in? Just a used piece. Was soldered at one time, but it's all kind of cleaned up. Any guesses on which one I threw that in? At least the number 2. Oh, see, and then you get ugly pieces like this. So if it looks pitted, a lot of times you guys scratch all these because you have to, but I've been doing this for so long, I could see that the smooth fittings, I've said this before, if the pipes are smooth and these are smooth, that's copper, this is brass, this is copper, and this one's brass. You can tell because it looks pitted like it's casted. So... And I know I just hold the piece like that. I don't have to put it in a vise because I'm a gangster. But yeah, 2 little pieces of number 2. I hate these drain pipe things. These things are just don't waste shit. And this one's all taped up. I never really liked these. It's all right, but like the fittings on them, these are aluminum. So you have to cut it or pull things off like this. Just these little stainless steel clamps and stuff too. I was keeping a bunch of them. I have a whole total. Drop it on the floor, dumbass. And there's a piece of brass. Yeah, the pipe is brass. You can see it's like falling apart, like all crushed, deteriorating. And then I got a little aluminum can over here. Let's see if I can hit it. I missed. Brass valves. Now, you don't have to cut them. I sometimes cut them with the Sawzall. But, like, I just had that screwdriver. Of course, I'm completely discombobulated. Screwdriver. A lot of times you could take these off and stab yourself in the hand. Like, see, that one don't want to come out. It looks like it's like a weird design or stripped or something. So that's why I usually just go. cut that bad boy right off. Now, usually these blue valves and red valves, I usually have tons of these. I'm cutting them off like these. Little piece of, now there's a piece of steel there and that. If I can be honest with you, they made it in the bucket. I throw them in the aluminum bucket. Nobody ever checks them. This, look at this piece of wire. You see the end is cut. And even this piece, this clamp. Grab my trusty magnet, speaker magnet. Look at that. That's all copper. Even this piece is copper. There was a bolt in this that we spun out to get the other piece because there's another piece of copper. But it was attached to one of these wires here. But that's a nice piece of heavy copper. Man, I wish I had a truckload of that. Number 2 it is. And then these little pieces is where that one came from. My buddy Steve gave me these. But this casing is so freaking hard. I don't know if I could strip it with a knife. Yeah, look how hard that is. Doesn't help when it's cold. And even though you do that, you got to peel it. But it looks very bright under there. So maybe switch to. I don't know, I'm kind of farting in the wind with some of this stuff. Part easier. Has to be. I mean, this is where like a nice wire stripper would come in handy, like one of those ones you see all the time. I don't get a lot of wire to strip like this though. Usually small pieces, you know. Look at that. It won't even strip. Do you guys do it this way, or am I just a dumbass who's been doing it too long? I mean, it's coming. I mean, it is only 50 degrees in here. I think it's 55 degrees in here now. It's 20 degrees outside, so since I started, I put the heat on. But usually if you run down it, this stuff is just so brittle. It's the stuff that beats your hands up, and it's just not fun to do. Might be easier if it was warmer, I guess. Got that much more to do, and I got a bunch of pieces, so I think I might do something different with that stuff. But I want to show you that, like, I had all these little pieces here of just this little bin and stuff I wanted to show you, and look how long it is taking me. Like, it's just not been easy. Like, all this stuff is like the little miserable stuff. Usually I'll throw this stuff to the side, and it's exactly what happened. I told you I got rid of all my other stuff that I had. So this little bin here was all like the rejected stuff that I didn't want to deal with, because I knew. I was like, when I have extra time, you know, I'll go in and I'll do it. But look, I knew that as soon as I threw these in there, that it was going to be misery. You guys ever do that? The stuff that's like kind of shitty to do? You throw it to the side and you're like, I'll do it another day, or when I don't have nothing much going on. Now I peeled it all. See if we can get a reveal here. Oh, yeah. Whoa, look at that. I didn't strip it all. All right. This be the hardest piece of wire I ever stripped. But that's not going to be bare bright because it's got this oxidization on it, which I only have a couple pieces, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw this to my number 1. I think that should go as number 1. I don't want to do that stuff again. My arm is killing me. And you see, I got a bunch of pieces of this stuff. Yeah, 4 more pieces. I don't know. This stuff is just, it's so freaking brittle. Wish I had one of those strippers. Wish I really had. Wish I had one of the strippers. But then again, I don't get much of this stuff, so for me to spend $200 or $300, would it help? Yeah, I mean it would save me some time. Oh, I hate stripping wire. I mean, if you're getting a lot of it, real fart, you might as well buy one of those strippers. I see them a lot. Not really a fan of those cheap ones. See, a lot of times you see them on TikTok and stuff. I mean, you got to remember, you get what you pay for. My buddy Bill's got I think it's a cable management or something like that. It's called, and you put this stuff in. It does the same thing the one on the TikTok shop does, but it's an actual like good quality one. You know, and you can adjust the blades. You can take the blades out and sharpen them. I think it's cable management, but this one's actually stripped easier. But see, like that's a little dark right there. I could probably pass that as Bear Bright. But I also don't have a lot of it, and I usually don't get it. So I'm going to throw that in my number one. You know? But this little stupid thing, I think this is copper. Look at that. It's a copper little kennel. It's probably going to be a pain in the butt to clean. Take the nut off the bottom and see what's in here. I think there's a little, damn. I think there's a little heating element in here. Because there's a little plug in here. This thing might be too much to... Wow, I don't even know if that would even come clean. I usually don't bother with like tiny stupid things. I mean, sometimes when I'm not doing a lot, like today, I worked so hard this week, guys. I almost didn't even want to get up, but I had to pick a few things up. And that's a piece of brass. It's got some screws in it. Piece of plastic. So that's all copper. That's all copper. That piece in there is copper. You just got to take the handle off. Oh, so it does come apart pretty easy. You know, most of these things are manufactured, so they will come apart pretty easy. Back to the Ford tool, guys. Look at that. Stupid steel rod still in there. And now I boogered it up. Oh, it popped off. That little thing is steel? Are we serious? Oh, that popped off too. Those little prongs are non-magnetic, but that's a little steel or a little copper pot. A little copper teapot. I mean, it doesn't weigh much. It's probably heavier because the base is thick. So it's hard to say. But that's probably half a pound. And of course, I put it in the wrong bin. But I do get a lot of this Romex. And I just sold a bunch. I got $2. I think $2 or $2.25. Yeah, $2 or $2.25 for this stuff, not stripped, you know, not burned or anything, just in the can hole. So that's why, like, where an extension cord like this with the end on it, I think I got 75 or 80 cents a pound for this stuff. So I don't even cut the ends off it. I just leave it in there. I'll turn the heat down a little bit. I'm dying. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comments if you have the same issues like I have. I mean, sometimes this stuff is easy to clean. I keep dropping everything. Sometimes this stuff is easy to clean, like this piece. It's got those little brass pieces on it, brass on the end, but this tube is copper. So you're gonna end up with a lot of the stuff to cut. But if you cut it, you can easily just pop them off. See now this one, I'm gonna cheat. I ain't gonna cut that. I'm gonna cheat. These old water valves. This has a steel handle on it. This one I'm definitely cutting off. Now this plastic piece, you guys turn these out or do you just cut them flush? Do you turn them out or do you slice them off? I've been cutting them off for the last how many years? Nobody's ever said nothing to me. No little piece of brass, copper. Of course, I missed and hit my window. I'm just not feeling this today. After a long day, or a long week, I just don't have the patience, guys. I mean, I did so much this week, guys, and for me to even be, oh my god, dude, I can't. I just dropped it in a bucket. Of course, not there's garbage in my brass bucket, but you know, sometimes you just gotta let it go, man. You can't push yourself too hard, and that's what I'm doing. Like I was out there by myself, the snow squalls, and every day this week it's been 15 degrees. You got brass, copper. Now that's got a little piece of brass in it, but this piece is copper. So copper it is. Now you got one of these ugly pieces. So this is a steel valve or handle, brass, and this is a piece of steel. Like I said, I was throwing a lot of these harder to clean and stupid pieces to the side. Just doing all the easier stuff. Now you could put this in the vise and try to get this out, but that's going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt. Get the pipe wrench on it, try to turn it out. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the saws on. I'm going to cut it right here. Might lose this little piece of brass. So I lost that little piece of brass, but I can cut down on this and get that little piece of brass if I wanted, but now it's just gone. And I'm not going to worry about this little piece. As long as I can get most of it, a little piece of copper, some schmoo on it. It's kicking you guys. That's a better view, actually. But I also had some more stuff over here. Yeah, I was winging stuff on the bench here that I had to go through. Another cord. This brass valve. Piece of copper elbow in it. Oh, there's a copper elbow. You can tell they're not casted. They're smooth. That's how I can easily distinguish by looking at them. So this piece is a piece of galvanized. The same thing. You could turn them out, or you could just cut them with the saw. I know I make things like that look easy. Some of you guys might have a problem with holding them, but I just hold them and slice them up. I've been doing it for so many years. That's a piece of brass. Oh, that's just an ugly piece. I don't even feel like doing that. Like these, a lot of times these handles are aluminum white metal. Screwdriver, which I don't have a Phillips head screwdriver here because I broke it. But I have to drill with a lot of times if you just hold them, they pop right out. And I know these ones have these, hold on, I think come out. No, I'm done with that. Then your aluminum piece. I don't know who's calling me, but I don't appreciate it. And then this has this little piece of plastic. Into the brass bucket we go. Not gonna worry about it. More copper, more brass. That's like these things. I get these things all the time. Everybody's throwing these out. I've seen these where they've had steel in them. But this one looks to be all brass. These old torch heads. I have one of the ones that's a self-igniter. I get them a lot. Nobody's really using them anymore. But it's just one of those things. I get so many of those stupid things over time. There's a nice piece of copper right here. I gotta cut all the zip ties off so I can pull this stupid foam off. But this came from one of those boilers. It was a piece that was on there. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is a piece of air conditioning line. I'm sorry. This must have been laying outside or something. I was gathering some stuff from outside. And gathering some of the stuff outside that I had been throwing in a pile. So I was trying to clean up a little bit and get some stuff in here because it's been snowing. At least if it's in here, I can find it. Now that piece had a little soldered end on there. I cut that off for number 2 because I wanted this piece because it's nice and clean for number 1. Nice piece of copper. Everybody likes a nice piece of copper. And this is all this plastic crap on it. I swear I did clean in here. The other day, Lunchbox was here, and we were putting this stuff in here. And we were cleaning, swept the floor when me and him loaded up all the. Oh, there's a bunch of freaking tape. We loaded up all that non-ferrous metal to go to Stanton's. We had a decent load. I had 4,000. I think it was 4,700 pounds. I didn't show the ticket, so you're just gonna have to believe me when I tell you. And if you don't, okay. You know, I'm not in this for a pissing contest with anybody. I just like to show people what I do. You know? Look at all the tape on this piece. I swear, every time I clean something, it's like you're fighting the zip tie boss and the tape boss and here little piece of wire, telephone wire. I throw that in the same thing where the extension cords go because it's all low grade. What did I drop into my brass bucket again? This brass bucket, I think, is more of my tools than anything. But all right. So we're going to cut this here. Nice heavy gauge piece. And look how thick that stuff is. Whenever you get these elbow sections and stuff, now I know some of you guys were sweating these off to try to clean them. Don't bother, man. Just go for what's easy. Some of you guys I don't understand. I said in one of my videos because a guy commented saying he takes a piece of steel wool and cleans all of it. Like I can't. I just can't. I don't have that much time for that much paper. How could you sit there and do that? Like, oh. I was trying to get the bench clear so I could show you these. These are the stand motors. Blower motors. They come out of the heating units and stuff. Or squirrel cages, some people call them. Oh, look what's on the other side. These electric motors. I had almost 900 pounds of electric motors because I get a lot of furnace units and stuff. And air conditioners with these big blower motors. And I've weighed these up. I think they're 8 to 10 pounds. And for you guys that like ripping them up, these are all copper. These aren't aluminum. So if you ever see these squirrel cages, you know there's a big motor in there. I know a lot of guys rip the electric motors apart. I just sell them whole because I value my sanity. Man, I can't get nothing going with him. But a lot of times what you got to do with these is I usually take these bolts out, but this one's kind of hanging in here. But you got to get this off. Sometimes these come off, sometimes they don't. But on here, let's see if I can spin this. This one's waffled. This square nut in here is where. Okay. Can't find the vice grips. Oh, I have a little pair of vice grips. So these, if you get this square nut off, in theory, these motors should slide off the shaft. Should. I had 3 the other day that would not come off. And unless you want to cut this whole thing open, it's just a disaster. I'm just going to cut that bracket off. As you see, that's loose in there. Now we got to get that shaft because it wants to go down. So I usually put them here where they're not hanging up on the bottom. I know you guys can't see. But I'm tapping that shaft down. Tapping that shaft down without boogering it up. You mushroom it out, you ain't getting it off. And you're going to have a hell of a time trying to get something in there to cut it. And then I just have one of these ones with the screwdriver with a top end so I can hit it and put it in the middle of that shaft. You hear that bang bang? As you look, she's gone. She's out of there. This can go on its intro. And here's what you're left with. One of these nice big electric motors. And you look in there. There's some big boy copper in there. So if you wanted to, you could take these screws out, like here, and pop one of these open and get this out. I usually don't do it. What the? I swear to God, man. I wish people would just leave me alone. And it's not even business. It's my wife, and she's working. So I'm actually going to show you what happens when you take one of these off, guys. Now, I used to do this, but as I got infinitely older and dumber, now I don't have some fancy garage, some crazy tools. I mean, I'm in a shed right now, which is more than most people have. But everybody's got a garage or something. Wow, what a pain. I'm actually going to get a little socket for that. Where's that 8 I had? Where's my 8? Where's my 8? It's not an 8. It's a 9? I think it's a 9. It's a 9. Really? Where's the anvil? Probably dropped it on the floor, guys. We're going to take one of these apart because I want to show you what's in them. Now, mind you, this was a blower motor. This was a blower motor. See? That's a nice piece of aluminum. It's got a rubber thing on it. So if you guys got time and a little more patience, is that even steel? Yeah, that is steel. So you'd have to pry that off somehow. I think if you give it the old, it's not going to pop off. But anyway, yeah, that's a little weird. I don't really care about that. All right, guys, and you're left with all this in here. Look at that. That rotor comes out. Now, these have aluminum. So that is aluminum, isn't it? Yeah, they're aluminum, but they're surrounded by steel and that. So I don't know if you could throw them as a short steel. I don't think you can. How do we get that out? That's gone. And then that popped off again. That might take a little care to smash that out. Here's that cage now with the. I don't know how's that comes out. I think you got to cut it. Maybe with the whiz wheel grinder. See if we can slice it with a sawzall. Like I said, I'm farting in the wind because I haven't done one of these. Yup, that takes the band off, guys. Look at that. You guys are learning with me because I haven't taken one of these apart. Then you're left with this guy. Oh, kind of ugly. So now what you want to do is you want to cut this copper off. I'm telling you guys, that's where that longer blade will come in. That longer white blade that I had before, guys. Look at that. We're breaking in new ground here, guys. I haven't taken one of these apart like this. Let's try. That made one hell of a mess of it. Ugh, that's ugly. That's ugly. Look at all the little pieces of copper. Bill, you might want to jump in here and tell me what I did wrong. I think because I was holding it that way. My buddy Bill does this all the time. I mean, you end up with a lot of little copper pieces. And I know I'm dropping them all over the place. Now, how do we get that out of there, guys? How we used to do it was get a screwdriver in there. I might need to. Wow. I think what I need to do is I need the vise here. If I remember, if you clamp this into the vise. Come on, you can do it. If you can do it, phone. Stay with me, guys. That's me. I'm ugly. Stay with me, guys. We're going to try to get this copper out of this electric motor. So I cut open that fan motor to get this out. I think what I could do is, I could clamp this in here to hold it for me. What am I doing? Yeah, I think that'll work. You have a bigger screwdriver? Big flathead screwdriver? I don't know how this is going to work. Oh, this might not work, guys. Seems to be just ripping. Oh, it's coming out, but it's slow. There's got to be an easier way, though, guys. Maybe an air chisel, guys? You guys ever use an air chisel? Maybe an air chisel? What else could you use? Maybe a power chisel, like a oh yeah, this is not nice. I mean, you do get some copper out. Like, there is copper in these. If you got the time to do it, it might also been the way I cut it on the back. I think I did a very terrible job Oh. Yeah, this is the main reason why I don't do this. This stuff is not good unless you have a really good system and a lot of patience. I mean, yeah, it's a pain in the butt. Are they all this hard, guys? Like I said, I haven't taken one of these apart in a while. I don't remember them being like this. Maybe I just got too old and too complacent. I don't know, man. That's rough. All right, I got that out. No, I didn't. Man, you guys really got to have copper fever to want to do this. Hey, Bill, how do you do this? Probably not watching, but maybe you should chime in. You guys have an easier way? Maybe leave it in the comments for people. Just show them, be like, don't be like this, dumbass. Oh yeah. I tell you what, those Pakistani guys on YouTube, they make it look easy. I don't know what they're doing and I'm not. Oh, maybe they just got the wrong skin color for it. I'm not a Pakistani, I guess. I don't know, man. Some of this is going to be easier. Oh, okay. So maybe once you start getting it out, it comes out easier, guys. Oh, maybe I'm just dumb. I don't know. Yeah, all this to make $5, right, guys? I don't know. That's not easy. And these Pakistanis, guys, on YouTube, they make it look really easy. I haven't even made $1 yet. Wow, look at that. Oh, I see why. When I cut it, some strands didn't get cut. Some strands didn't get cut on the back side. Oh, okay, so I guess it all makes sense when you're cutting the back side. I mean, it's a hard way to make some extra scratch. I mean, the whole time I've been doing this, I could have been inside doing nothing. Sounds a little better than doing this. Oh, do you guys have better luck than me, or am I just a dummy? Might be just a dummy. I don't know. Maybe I am too dumb to do scrap the right way. I bet you with an air chisel, you could take this out a hell of a lot easier. Because once you get it working, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Once you get it working. It's still a pain. It's just not easy. Like, I'm sweating. I used to take apart a lot of generators. I used to get generators from the place. back in the day. And the copper was thicker. And you'd cut one end and it would just pull right out. I mean, some of the older ones were epoxied in there, and you had to fight with them a little bit, but not much at all. Not like this. I mean, I might be better off just throwing these in the bucket like I did. I mean, I've had over 1,000 pounds of these, and everybody's like, "Oh, you probably should have cleaned them." But should I have? Because this is bad. I mean, if I invested in the setup to do them, but I mean, that's heavy copper. I would say there's probably, I don't know, 2 to 5 pounds, 2 to 4 pounds of copper here. So, I mean, I don't even know if anybody's even watching me struggle with this anymore. Probably just laughing at me. But to maybe make an extra 10 pounds or maybe $10 worth of copper. I don't know. I'm not one to give up though, so I'm here doing it. Yeah, once you get it working, it's not bad, guys. I don't know, any of you guys ever rip these apart? Killing me. I don't even know what to say. Like, it's borderline frustrating. I'm just not set up to do this, guys. I'm doing it for you guys. And I'm doing it for the people. Doing it for the people. Doing it for our children. So they can have a better life. Like, my arms are killing me by doing this. Might be a little too old for this. Oh my God, my arm is freaking killing me. But I keep getting to that copper. That's what it's about, guys. Get to the copper. Of course, I missed. All right, so we almost got one of these stripped. I don't think I ever want to do one again. But then again, I like copper. Used to be a game I used to play. And the guy who used to come up to you, the homeless guy, used to come to you, "Do you have a copper to spare?" No, not for you. I ain't giving away my copper. This is a pain. I don't want to do this. Like, I like myself a little too much to want to do this. This last case is going to be the death of me. Because it don't want to come out. Oh, I cannot believe that won't come out. Wow. First, drop my screwdriver in my brass bucket. I don't know what to say, guys. Like, I don't think this is for me. This is not my gig. I spent all this time putzing around with this to show you guys. I mean, some of them got to be easier than this. Are they all like this? Keep saying all these questions. Like, this shit don't want to slide out. It's moving here, but not anywhere else. Oh, there's all the little pieces I'm dropping. I don't know, man. You guys got me seriously questioning my life. It just doesn't want to come out. Now there's nothing to pull. Oh man. What's going on here? There's no way that's pulling out. What the hell? Scrap life. Sure. That piece came out. Oh my god, guys. I'm physically sweating. And I know I'm wearing a hoodie on and stuff, but like I'm physically sweating. This makes me not ever want to do this again. But for the sake of YouTube, that's how I wasted 15 minutes, 20 minutes stripping an electric motor. Yeah, there's probably an easier way. I'm going to tell you what, guys. For anybody who says, why don't you strip all them? This is why. For me, this ain't my bag, guys. This ain't my cup of tea. Oh, you want to know why? It's freaking epoxied in there. It is freaking epoxied in there. Look at that. See that? It is epoxied in these little plastic tubes. Yeah. Okay. Look, I can't pull that out because it's epoxied in them tubes. That's why I can't even clamp that on there and pull it out, wedging against it. I don't know, maybe you could heat them up. Oh my God. You have to literally pry it out of there. Oh my God. It's coming. Nope. Yeah, that's why, guys. It's epoxied in there. It is literally epoxied in there. Oh my God. Oh. Guys, I don't ever want to do that again. Unless I truly found a way to do it easier. Maybe that was just a hard one because it was an industrial one from a... But half the copper is all over the table. Then you end up with this ugly thing. I'm throwing that in a number 2 because I fought for it. Whew. Oh my God. What a pain in the earth. And then this can go with short steel. Yeah, you can see it's epoxied in there. It's glued in there. Nope, I'll never do one of them again. That's not happening, guys. Street scrapping is bad in a lot of areas. True, certain big sprawling suburbs are good. Yeah, certain suburbs and areas are better for doing scrap. Me personally, I live in a very rural area where everybody pays for their garbage. So the chances of you getting stuff, you might see things by the curb, but it ain't going to happen often. So You drive around on garbage night, you might drive around and get nothing. You might get one thing. Your best bet is to try to go into some of the communities when they have like bulk garbage days or something. You might get other stuff. But no, you're gonna be asking if you think you're gonna drive around and get scrap on garbage night out by me. When I lived in the city, that's what me and my dad used to do back when I was a kid. We used to ride around on garbage night and I'd do it. And when we were kids, we used to go around and take all the cans out of the recycling cans that people would put out by the road. We used to do that. Take all the aluminum cans and bring them. That's how I actually started doing scrap metal as a kid. Board. I'm from Patterson, New Jersey. If any of you guys are from Patterson, New Jersey. Drove around on my bike, Patterson, New Jersey. Had a milk crate on the handlebars. And pick up aluminum cans. And there was a recycling center. My dad knew the guys right 2 blocks away. So we'd go up there and crush all the cans. Actually, we used to start my dad's pickup truck and drive him over the cans and flatten them and fill the bags up. My brother would go. I had two brothers. Damn it, right in the press book. We'd go bring him in there. Back in the early 90s, we were hustling like $100 a week. Me and my three brothers and our friend John started helping us. That's out of shovels. We used to go to the hardware store and buy the ash shovel handles and cut them down to make bats for stickball. Oh, farting. And yeah, that's how we rolled with that, man. I did that in the city, and then I moved up here, not too far from where I live now. I've been in the same area for 30 years. I know. Figured I would have been smart enough to leave. But it's a big rural area and major highways. Can't even walk down the road. There's nobody around. There's nothing to do. We're going stir crazy. And I've said this before in my videos. That's why I was working with the guy across the street who was rebuilding his house at the time. They were going to hit that shaft. And I worked all summer with him, rebuilt extra money, and I bought a truck. Oh, I was on the toe. Bought a 72 F-150, F-100, and that 71, I had it all through high school. And talking to friends, relatives, people I knew, people my dad knew, and stuff like that. My buddy and his parents, because my buddy knew a lot of people. And my dad knew guys at the garage. I'd go stop, get scrap. And all the kids in high school used to make fun of me. Oh, that guy with that old shitty pickup truck. My Tonka truck, but it was yellow and brown. We used to call it Poop and Pee, the color tone. And everybody made fun of me. Until then, 1 year went by. That summer, I had a brand new four-wheeler, and I bought myself a 98, brand new. And my brother had buddy John Bems and go riding over there after work. And I started working with him, doing scrap, working on lawnmowers, cars. We used to rebuild trucks and stuff like that. And we did that for a bunch of years. And the one day, a bunch of the kids were like, "Oh, you drive around in that shitty truck? Would your dad buy you that four-wheeler?" And Lunchbox stood up for me and said, now, I was already dropped out of high school at the time. I was going there to pick him up to go riding. And he said to the kid, he's like, "You see that beat-ass pickup truck? He paid for that. You see all that junk he has in the back? And I dropped I was doing afterwards wood scrap on the side, and then I worked for a garbage company for years. Was the garbage thrower. Then I drove for a little bit, but not much, for with a different company. Then went back to the same company that I worked for before. I worked there 13 years on and off between two companies. Between those two, and went to another company. And the whole time I was doing scrap metal with my buddy John. We were cutting up trucks, parting out trucks. We always had truck frames and everything. So this is what I've been doing. And I then quit working for the garbage company. I just could not take it no more. Very toxic place. They were about to get burned out. Or I'm burned out. They were about to get bought out, and I'm glad I did because they fired all the helpers, and I would have been SOL anyway. So and my wife at the time we were dating, she was just pregnant. We were just dating. She said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "I'm going to scrap full time," and that was about eight. Oh no, not 18. That was about 15, 14 years ago is when I started doing it actual full time, but I was full time another time before. Like every time I would change a job, I would just keep doing scrap. And actually, I was doing scrap full time and working a full time job. But yeah, when you have kids and everything, and you got people who rely on you, that's what you got to do. But yeah, here's another one of those motors, guys. I don't know. Leave in the comment section. Would you rip that apart, even though I just did that? Do you guys have an easier, better way? Do you guys not bother with it? Do you guys, don't even bother taking the electric motors out of them? It's not something you've taken out. I mean, you get a couple pieces of aluminum out of them and stuff. Like there's a little bit of aluminum. You got to get that tin out of there. I think if I cut that with the whiz wheel, I could probably pop that piece of tin out in the center. But yeah, guys, I wanted to show you. And I thought that motor actually was, I'm going to be honest with you, I thought the motor was going to come apart easier with pulling the copper out of it. I should have weighed it, but not much came out of it. I'd say between 2 and 5 pounds. I'd say between 3 and 5 pounds. And at current prices at $330, $340 a pound for number two. And it can't go for number one because it's got that epoxy on it, I believe. I mean, I'm just spitballing. So, I think current price, I'm getting 40 something cents a pound for this. So, I mean, if I'm getting 40 cents a pound for this, I might better off just to go. I mean, I know I'm losing money, but that was a lot of work to rip that out. And I mean, I had 1,000 pounds. I had 1,000 pounds of these. I bet you I had 300 pounds of copper, maybe. And that 300 pounds of copper, that would have been almost $1,000 if I'd have ripped it out. I didn't even get $1,000 for the whole lot. So it's one of those things. I don't know. I probably should rip them apart, but that was a real. Maybe these ones are epoxy. I don't know, guys. This is what I'm thinking in my head. I don't know, man. Maybe somebody can help me out here. I know my buddy Bill does it, but I don't have the patience. All right, so now we have a big egg coil. You guys are like, what's an egg coil? Out of the copper furniture that blower came out of. You can see the box. And it has a coil inside it. But I'm going to do a separate video on this, guys, to get this copper coil out. I've done them before. But someone's here for me today. So, guys, I'm signing off. Let me flip this camera. I'm signing off, guys. I think I'm done. That right there, I'm going to do a video on ripping that apart, I think. And we'll see whatever else I could get. I really might want to start doing those electric motors. Pretty cool to hear my opinion. Yeah. But yeah, guys, I'll see you later. And thank you. I appreciate you guys watching my live. It was an hour and 20 minutes. I want to start doing more of these. If you guys like these, leave in the comment section below. Let me know if you guys want to see me go live more. I have excellent internet where I'm at, so I could do it. And now that I got heat in here and insulated, I'm living in a baked potato, like I said. But all right, guys, I'll see you later. Thank you, guys.